What's up, everybody? Welcome back, Shot Tank. I think this has got to be one of the first times we've had everybody in a while, right? Right? I feel like it's been a while since we've all been together.
Didn't we have everyone last week?
No, I was out.
Yeah.
Oh, you were out. Oh.
He was on a train somewhere.
Yeah.
Trying to be on one.
It's one of our best shows. It's one of our best shows.
That makes sense.
TST, yeah, let's start there, dude. I love talking about travel. How was getting back and forth on like buses, planes, trains, automobiles?
Yeah, pretty much. On the way there was terrible. Had 2 buses and 2 trains canceled in a span of 3 days, and then finally got there. On the way back, it was smooth though.
2 trains.
2 trains.
Nice, that's great, dude. Good, man. Glad we got caught up with that. Jeb, how are you doing, man? What's going on?
Dude, I'm good. Work has slowed down finally for the first time in months. I'm just
Whoa.
cranking out content.
There we go. The SoRare steals are back. JBB, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. I'm just hanging out, trying to get over the Christmas, New Year's hangover and get back into the swing of things.
Nice. Good updates, guys. Energy's good. Everybody seems pretty positive and up and at 'em, ready for a show. Love to see it.
What about you, Mike? How are you doing?
Dude, thank you, dude. Finally, somebody fucking asked. No, I'm great, man. I've been sitting in this chair in front of a camera for 72 straight hours, it feels like. But we get some good stuff today. We're going to be talking some SoRare. I think we're going to start with SoRare. Usually whatever we start with, that covers 90% of the show, and then we're like, shit. And then we do 10% of the other thing. And I think last week we did last week we did more SoRare than TopShot. But you know what? We're gonna start with SoRare, and then we will cover.
This stream's demonetized.
Yeah, it's Shot Tank, dude. You weren't making any money out of this. We will talk some Top Shot though towards the end, because there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about. John had a thread.
Cardboard shop.
What's up?
Cardboard shop.
Oh yeah, cardboard shop. Yeah, we gotta talk about John's thread about net neutrality information, and then we also have to talk. We should talk about like that today, because Twitter was going wild. They were like, "Wait a minute, somebody just pulled a K number 1, a John number 1, a LeBron number 1, Luke Dumbo, iRacer." And then it turns out we'll talk more about it, but it turns out they're going to be just giving those away to people at cardboard shops. So we can touch on that towards the end and all that shit. But let's start with the SoRare streets, as we're all furious except for TST that Paul Reed hasn't touched the gosh darn court tonight. But Harrell.
I'm Team Harrell.
Let's go, John.
Wow,
I've Harrell.
Although I realized I somehow didn't play him. I played him in my rare, and then didn't play his limited, which I don't know what the thought process was there. But
You diversifying, man. I get it.
Yeah.
I played Paul Reed rare and then played Harrell and Reed limiteds in other lineups. So I'm still pissed off. But yeah, I don't know. Where do you guys want to start with SoRare? I know we were kind of tossing around a couple of different ideas about what we can talk about. I know they're introducing a couple of new contests. But I don't know. Is there any like a bigger picture things that you guys wanted to start with, and then we can zero in?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think is really interesting that I wanted to talk about was that just the market in general seems to be going up. Like, I just consistently, as someone who is constantly scraping the floor, diving in the dumpsters and pulling out these Ish Wainwrights and players that I'm like flipping up, like the floor is consistently like moving up and staying up. You know, there are these players that I flipped that I was like, oh, I'll pick them right back up as soon as they crash, and they're not crashing. And I just find it very interesting. And I'm wondering, do you think this is because like that? I think that one thread that you shared earlier about the SoRare, that guy made about like user growth and the amount of people who have one card at least is like going through the roof. So is it just do you think there's more users than current supply right now? Like there's more demand than supply?
I'm going to go first and then I'll pass it along. But I would just say that I haven't looked at that once because I like this game. And that is the utility for me. It is a collectible in the sense that I enjoy it. And I was trying to come up with a rhyme of playing and laying or something. I don't know. I was trying to, anyways, praying and playing. That's what I'm doing. Praying. But no, I honestly, Jeb, I didn't know that until you said that today, that the market was going up. I just assume I'm collecting L's because that's what's in my blood. But yeah, curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. I don't know, JBB or TSC, if you guys have dove in at all.
If you look at the numbers of like if you look at like the limited champion, I think that's a pretty good number to look at as far as like who's engaged / like kind of getting a handful of cards to get ripping. It really has picked up over the last like 3 or 4 weeks, or I guess 2 or 3 game weeks. It was hovering around like the mid 6s, and then now we're into the mid 7s. This week, I guess, back down a little bit to 7.052. So it seems like things are ticking up from like a contest size standpoint, and maybe that honestly their biggest contest was around the Christmas. Well, the biggest ones for limited, it seems like, were around the Christmas holiday there, with the little promotional and marketing is like worked. It seems like that's kind of weird. Never heard that before. So yeah, I mean, I think that's good. I think, and I do think that having all these contests, which I know we'll get into later, is also a good thing, right? Kind of keeps people going and keeps people engaging.
Yeah, I want to share Andrew's comment too, saying, wonder if the tournament entries were down this game week because of the early deadline. At TSC, I think I actually gave you homework during the live before lock show because it came up, and I was like, somebody had put that in the chat, and I was like, I'm sure TST will probably do a thread on that later in the week. So thanks, man. Thanks for doing the work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those numbers were like down, but what I've noticed too is that the Monday lock day is often lower than the Friday lock day for whatever reason. Wow. In particularly in the limited contender. So it kind of it's been like either you see a bigger jump or you see a little pullback whenever it's the Monday one. I've been waiting longer because the other thing that I want to look at too is just comparing like the scores of those two different types of game weeks. And like the one having the extra day usually means there's more games or players with more multiple games. So you would expect it to be higher. I've just been waiting for like a larger sample before we can really dive into that, because if we're constantly like growing the amount of people playing, then you would assume the scores are going to be going up slightly as well. Right. But that is one thing that I was looking at today, because I was kind of catching up from when I was away of like tracking the different things. And that is one that already the Monday, for whatever reason, the lock is a little lower. I don't know if it's not on people's mind.
Garfield.
And then the earlier lock time for sure probably had an effect. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what we bounce back to after, like, the limited contender was at 9,526 last game week, and it almost hit 9,000 this week, which was at the previous one. And then limited champion was its highest ever. Actually, it was the highest ever for both the limited contender and limited champion last week. So that was interesting. When it first hit, like when I first saw that data, I like had to check the date, because I was like, oh, maybe it was like New Year's morning. Everyone was like hungover, not paying attention or whatever. And then I realized that it was like Monday and early lock time.
Yeah, early lock. I kind of like the early lock.
So what we can actually talk. Hold on, Colonel Dickweed had a comment. He said, "Yeah, I only got my limited champion because I realized 30 seconds left that the Knicks were starting." Yeah, I think a lot of people were in that. I mean, I didn't know until the morning. Someone DM'd me and they were like, "Hey, are you still doing the show? And what time are you going to do it at?" And I was like, "Same time, bro." So
that'll happen again soon, right? For a holiday,
Martin Luther King Day. Yeah, they usually play
Yeah, that'll be in like 3 weeks or so or something. I don't know. You guys, you guys have that. We don't have that up here.
Nice. Wow. Says a lot about Canada.
The difference to the race card.
The difference between that one, I think, is we'll have more injury news because a lot of those games are played throughout the day.
Yeah.
Where this one was so bizarre because it was just like one game and then 8 hours with no news. Yeah, I'm with you, John. I did kind of like it because you had to take a couple of stands, which I'm currently mostly taking L's on. But for tournament play, I always like that because I like having the opportunities of like, well, if I just make this decision here, that's going to make me a little bit more unique and maybe give me an edge. So I like that too. Although I think I prefer having a little bit more information on the slate versus just being like, oh, hope nobody gets hurt at practice today or whatever it was, you know. Anything with the data that you guys have been looking at, Jeb? I know you're talking about the market and the thread that we were looking at today. Is there anything I don't know, that was like concerning, or is there anything that like gave you pause for concern, or is it just kind of like always up, dude? We're never gonna lose.
I think.
Go ahead, Joe. Well, I was just gonna say that like I feel like so much of the market just depends on the speed at which they put auctions at, and like I think limiteds are at like 2 per day right now, or there's only like 2 live or something like that. So like that's probably like the biggest reason. I mean, obviously the number of people playing contender or playing the limited contest is a positive. The rare contests have been going up since they like first went down. But when they went down, they didn't go down as much as you might expect. Like they didn't go down by like 40%. But they did take a significant hit, especially rare champion. And then they've been slowly creeping up as we go. So they're trending in the right direction. So that's like good to see overall. But again, like
you're talking about rewards. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like I'm talking about the
entries,
auctions.
Right? Oh, auctions.
And then the rare contest when they no longer allowed limited cards in them
anymore.
A big hit for participants. And then I've been trending up. But like the 5,000 potential is like huge. So if we get close to that number, like next year, once we start getting any cards, unless like there's this huge boom, that like it just won't keep up. And like I guess they don't have to mint all those, but I'm cautious about that. I wouldn't say it's up only for that reason.
Yeah. Well, so that was one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up, is because I agree with you that it is primarily like auction based. Like if there's not a lot of circulation coming in, people have to go buy off the marketplace. And at the beginning, if there was a player you wanted, you could pretty much go to the auctions and get it instead of have to go and look at manager sales at all. But do we think that they increase auction rate then if like demand continues to get high? Because that's one thing I'm trying to figure out, is if I should dump some of these bags that I'm holding and then just assume that auction rate, they'll increase it to compensate for the demand, and then I use that dip to enter back in.
I mean, theoretically, if you're creating an economy, a game economy, your goal would be to try to keep things stable, right? Like as stable as possible. Like if I was like in the chair of being an economist, right? That would be like, I think that would be like one of my main goals, was to try to keep things stable. And so I wouldn't really be of the opinion that like, oh, it's good if all moments are going up. Obviously, I wouldn't be of the opinion that it's good if all moments are going down either, and keep funneling the supply. But like and you can't just, it's like when we're playing fantasy football and you're just assuming rational coaching. You can't assume like rational decisions by these companies, because obviously we've seen what our
I was going to say, I think we learned that the
people over there at TopShot do, just fire off. But I mean, that would be my assumption, is like I wouldn't really be planning on like loading up in an effort that it's maybe going to moon if they like cut off the auctions. I would more so be taking the benefit of like, holy shit, like everything's not just going down every week. As how I would look at it, I think.
Yeah. I wanted to bring something up. I just saw something in the chat that reminded me of it. Did you guys see Top Shot Fund tweet something out today about like the SoRare purchase? Actually, why don't I forgot I have share screen capabilities. I'll share it because I replied to it with something snarky. But I actually thought this was interesting. Here we go. It's up here now.
Jaw Unique.
Yeah, he was like a 50K SoRare sale. Question is, how the hell is Anthony Davis the number one sale? Calls into question the legitimacy of the platform. And I get what TSF Space Cowboy is saying, and I know he's a basketball fan and he's sharp when it comes to this stuff. But like to a couple of things here, like to the first sale happened earlier, right? So it's different. But the other thing, Anthony Davis was like the best fantasy player to have for the first half of the season until he got hurt. Which I thought that was kind of interesting, like to see that's how it was framed. And I can get, I get like comparing Ja to Anthony Davis. You're like, yeah, of course I'd want Ja. But
I mean, yeah, I guess like if you're thinking of like long-term betting on the player, but like, I mean, I don't know. Ja's like obviously had some good games, but he's been like on and off this season. Like I would say from a fantasy impact, like if you look at the last 22 game weeks or whatever, Anthony Davis has had a much bigger impact than John Morant has.
Absolutely.
And like that's what this platform is. That's what this platform is about, is fantasy, right? So like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's that crazy. I almost think it's better that Anthony Davis, it did sell for more, because that means somebody was buying it to use it or whatever.
Absolutely.
And like, I don't know. I just think that like that makes sense to me, that Anthony Davis is more than Ja. Like, yeah, if you're looking at it from like a 10-year horizon with your, video cubes, then maybe it doesn't, but like it does in fantasy sense for this season.
I also just wanted to just highlight here that it must have been a bottleneck.
It's good
because another platform that makes sense.
It is a 1 of 1.
Yeah, 1 of 1.
It is a bottleneck, technically.
A couple things here too in the chat too. Andrew said I would expect auctions to speed up if there is a boom in user, so that's good to know since he was around in the football days.
I mean, I think their algorithm is fairly. Oh, go ahead.
No. The other thing I was just going to say, he said Ja is the third most expensive. Durant's unique was a little bit higher too.
Well, Cardboard dude got it wrong.
You were going to say something else?
No. I was just going to say, I think. I think their algorithm for their auctions is fairly complex, is what it seems like, right? And it's like the first couple weeks, it was cycling all over, up, down, like some days slow, some days hot, whatever. But I honestly think, like, if I were to guess at why it was so fluctuating, is because the NBA, the way that they set up the NBA game, leads to people needing more cards, right? Because like on the football side, there was no cap and there's 1 game a week. So you kind of just like lock in your bros and you're riding it out for like most of the season, like whatever league you're focusing on or whatever. For MLB, it was cumulative, I think, but also no cap. So maybe there was some movement around, like, I know Andrew was talking about movement around players who had like, 3 games or 4 games in a week or something. But with the cap on every contest having a cap and it being the last 10 cap, right? I think like soccer, I don't know, I might be over speaking, but I think it's like last 40 or something, or is that wrong?
I don't know.
I think it's last 15.
15, right? But it's like 15 weeks, right? Whereas last 10 in NBA is like, because soccer, I think they only play like one a week. So NBA last 10 is, only a couple weeks. So it's much more, the cap number itself is much more variable, I would think.
Right.
And then the fact that every contest has a cap leads it to where you need to just have more cards in your collection to be able to play every week, right? Like, I mean, we see it every week. Like in the builder that I have on the sheets, like you have your lineup set and I bring in the new numbers and all of a sudden all of your lineups are like over the cap, right? It's like over by like 5 points or something, because like stuff changes. And so I do think that might have led to some of the initial fluctuations and like trying to figure it out, right? Because like maybe they weren't used to as much demand, and so they were like, oh shit, like maybe there's more buying than we've seen in baseball and soccer,
right?
But that's probably why, and now it's maybe settled down a little bit too.
I think that's 100% why, right? Like that's the uniqueness in the lineup building. I think that's what makes the NBA game pretty different from what we've been seeing in football and baseball streets, and which is fun because I think it also keeps I feel like it keeps the market just okay too. Like I don't think stuff's gonna absolutely moon or anything, but it keeps stuff from cratering. And like Jeb, you are the example of that, right? When these
L10 keep things from cratering.
Yeah, you keep things from cratering. No, but like when you see, like when the L10 guy that was a great play then pops for a little bit, you play him if you got him or you flip him, and then like a week later, as it drops back down, you like scoop him up because like the situation is gonna arise again. And I think that's kind of what keeps the market. Like we do see ups and downs, but it's not like wild swings like we've seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some like wild swings for sure. Like even I was looking at Jalen Williams today. because I picked him up for like under $2, and he like spiked, I think 16 at one point, but now he's at like $10-12, and I sold him at, I think, at like 9 or 10, thinking he would drop right back down. But the floor in general, like let's use Ish Wainwright as an example. His floor has gone from like $2 to $4, and it's pretty, like, it's not this massive jump where like you're seeing like all these people buying. It's just like people are just saying, oh, like this moment's like a $4-ish, $5-ish moment. And I know that card. Sorry. And I know there's like other factors around it, but it's just interesting to me to see, like, before you could get a ton of cards under $2 easy. Mm-hmm. Now you cannot get a card of a guy that actually like regularly plays, even if he barely plays, like for under like $350.
There you go, mooning. That's almost that's almost 100%. It's up almost 100%.
But I mean, if the auction like pace is dictated by an algorithm, I mean, that makes me the happiest possible.
Yeah,
like
I think it for sure is.
I mean, I assumed that about Top Shot, and I found out the hard way that wasn't true. I like had this long talk, and I was like, yeah, so you guys plug all these numbers into like an algorithm, right? And it spits out how much you should mint. And they're like, well, no. And I was like, I could write that for you right now. So.
Hey, Mike, Philly just went to OT, so maybe Paul Reed gets in.
Paul Reed's not going to play. I'm so mad about that. I'm so mad about that because Paul Reed is the better basketball player of their backup bigs. Like, Montrez sucks.
Montrez is like similar to DeAndre Ayton, where he just like probably really shouldn't be playing that much.
I don't know. His 17-3-1-3-1 would say otherwise.
I know.
Yeah, shut up, Miles Turner, making Montrezl Harrell look awesome. I just
want to touch on the I want to touch on the side contest, because I think, like, I don't know about you guys, but I would assume, and maybe they're not going to stick to something this year. Maybe they're going to stick to something next year, or maybe it'll be after the All-Star break or something, or maybe they'll just keep cycling. But I would assume they're going to like stick to some of these contests, right? Like eventually, and just like have them be every week, or maybe they'll keep cycling. But I wanted to pick your guys' brain on like what you think have been the most fun ones so far, or the best ones so far. So we had, just to recap what we had so far, we had the Western Conference, Eastern Conference ones. Then we had the no cap and the underdog ones, right? Where it was 60, I think, was the cap for underdog. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of had the weird Thanksgiving one, right? With the the Christmas one.
Seasons of Giving.
Giving and whatever. I think those are kind of one-offs. And then now, and then we just had the defense and offense. And then now we've got the new ones this week for the under 23 and the over 30, which we haven't really seen how those will play out. And I actually haven't really dug into my collection too much to see what I even have in those buckets. Although I did add ages to the Momentum Lab sheets today, so that's helpful. But anyways, just want to open the floor to you guys. What has been your most favorite, or what would you hope that they kind of keep around?
I love the underdog one. I think is fun because it's one of those that like it reminds me. Shout out TOC, but it reminds me of the first season of that, where they had like a Island of Misfit Toys lineup where you basically just like make the worst of it, or you just did like a defense and a tight end. Where what it does, like, it's not necessarily I guess it is propping stuff up a little bit, but it just feels so silly to make 35 training lineups. And I like the idea of having like some of these these cheap L10 guys that you scoop up over the course of the season to like help build your lineup. And you're like, oh, why don't I just fire in these like 5 guys that are under 10? So the underdog one I really like, and I'm very excited about this 23 and under and 30 and over. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I buy players that are between 23 and 27, so my whole strategy has to get changed up. But no, I really like
the G League for at least 3 years. So.
Yeah, I really like the underdog one, just because, like, to Mike's point, like, there's just like more strategy, and it's a different way of thinking, and like, it allows you to use those like cards that you might otherwise just be like, well, I have these and there's no point in selling them type of deal. I see Colonel Dickweed in the chat saying that anything that spreads out Luka and Giannis, which I kind of agree with.
Yes.
But that being said, I'm not a fan of the no cap, Just like from a fun perspective. Like
Yeah.
I think the no cap is cool in the sense that it gets a lot of idiots to waste their best cards, but like it's not fun because it's just like hey, did you spend a ton of money on cards, and do those cards happen to be playing like 2 games or playing games or whatever? I like the all defense a lot. The all offense is kind of cool, but the all defense I think is like really interesting.
So I'm gonna push back a bit. I think the underdog one or whatever are the worst ones.
What the fuck?
Me too. I was gonna agree with you on that.
Because
what?
like I think of it also from a standpoint of like people who want to play this slightly more passively than we would. And I think the more you get into the like players where their caps changing or having to go find the new like hot player that needs a low cap, the like less engaged it'll make people, as in they'll be like, that's too much work to constantly be doing. So like at first I was like all about limited contender, but now I like the champion ones more because you could at least have like 3 players that you're playing essentially every week and then have to cycle through maybe like 4, 5, 6 other ones that you have. So I think the more contests like that, just like the Eastern or Western Conference one, I think fits that really well. I do like the under 23 and the veteran ones because again, you could be like, okay, like I want to focus on that one. From a standpoint of something that we would have regularly, if they're just going to rotate through these every week and it doesn't really like, you can't really invest in this contest, then I'm open to them like experimenting more. But if they're going to pick like one of these that they would complement and then have another one rotating through all every week, then I would say like Eastern Western Conference under 23 or veteran would make more sense. I do like the defense one and the underdog one. If that one was just rotating through and didn't really matter, kind of like they don't really matter right now. Like if you're like concentrating on those solely,
then, so like, dumb. If you're concentrating on any of these, you're so dumb. Like because they're
I think like, that's just dependent on the prize pool, right?
That's
like,
what I mean.
Prize pool that
that's what I mean by the prize pool situation. And like
I would assume that if they were gonna stick one full time, they would probably make the price pool a little bit better to where it would at least make you think about it, right? And actually, so I was gonna agree with TST, but then I might disagree. So I don't. I do not like the underdog contest for the reason that TST said he doesn't, because like I am not like Jeb where I'm scraping everything. Like I'm not. I don't really buy anybody that's like low. I haven't really bought much in a while. But I try to just play with what I've got. And so like I was literally throwing like a bunch of 0 projected dudes in my underdog and just hoping like somebody was going to get some minutes. And so from that standpoint, I didn't really like it that much. But from the standpoint of it could actually benefit those that are in the champion, because it kind of, if they had a structure that incentivized you kind of like thinking about that one, and like maybe people would go to that one if there was enough prizes or whatever, because then it would like bring some of those cheat codes over to that contest instead of in the champion. And so then like the super active people could go freaking nerd out with their sub 5 people like Jeb, and then everybody else could like, you know, get those guys over in the underdog world and then, you know, have their own fun sweats and champion if they don't like are not grinding their dick off trying to figure out who's getting 13 minutes tonight.
Do you know what I think my take is I don't want 35 training lineups. Like just give me contests. Let me fire stuff out. Make it harder for me to figure out like where to put stuff. And that's what I'm looking for. I get what you're saying about the underdog. Like you have to be pretty engaged, but I don't think someone's logging in and being like, oh, they have an underdog contest.
Yeah.
Back to Top Shot I go. Like I don't think that's
no, for sure.
No. But we're just saying like if we had to pick another one, which would be the best.
Because I really like
enjoy
the other think the defense one is really fun, and it's like I don't know, the offense one I don't get as big of a rise out of, just because like the guys that are gonna do well in like all the contests are just probably gonna do well in the offense contest. So it's like I don't know. It just doesn't. It's just kind of more of a luck of the draw thing, like which guys aren't going to get turnovers or something. Where the defense one, I think, is like a little bit more differentiated, right? And like, I found myself the last few weeks like making some conscious decisions of like, I could play like Miles Turner in my champion, but I'm just going to actually save him for defense and like take a, Jalen Green or something at a similar price point and kind of swap them around just based on what the projections were for defense. And I also think that the defense stuff, like the defense one, leans more towards using projections, I think, which plug, but we've got those. So helps get a little bit of an edge, I think. Like I've done really well in all the defense ones, and it's not like I just have a bunch of defensive players, but like we have a projection for defensive stats, and like all those guys like end up getting pretty close to it, or they have a big block game or a big rebound game, and the defense lineups do well. So I don't know. I thought that one was definitely more fun than the offense. But then, like, I agree with Mike that like as long as you're giving me stuff to do with my cards, like I don't really care that much. And like I would be on board with. It seems like they've been doing them for like 4 weeks straight, basically, and they rotate them between common and limited. So I'd be on board with them just kind of keep cycling that. It's more just like a discussion of like, are they going to be always just kind of these ancillary for fun contests that like if you get a prize you're stoked but you're not really focusing on it, or are they ever going to like make it a something that people get into and start collecting for, like they did in soccer, right? They've done the under 23 in soccer.
I feel like you said this a couple of weeks ago. I think they're just like gathering data and just saying like, okay, what do people like? What do they don't like? And then we'll have some more consistent stuff. Like I love the idea if they just add another rare and another limited, another super rare of one of these, and then continue to rotate a fourth one in, right? Like slowly build it out. That would be the dream. And I want to go back to, I mean, Andrew didn't put this in the chat, but something that he said on his stuff and on the show that I was on with him and on Twitter, just like more opportunities to spread out some of those MVPs is like a pretty, like, when Luka or Donovan, whoever, like if you have one performance like that and like all of the Lukas are in the rare champion or the limited champion, it's like, well, okay, next week, like we're on to the next game week because we don't have a shot. And so the idea of those getting spread out a little bit more is spicy. Like we need that. We need those moving around because it levels the playing field. Not even that it levels the playing field. It just makes it more interesting.
It makes it more interesting because then, if someone like, I mean, not everyone was throwing Donovan Mitchell into their champion lineup,
right?
But like, I think the champion lineup with Luka is about like it's like 7.61% of all champion lineups have Luka as the MVP. So if Luka goes absolutely bonkers, well, then you're just disengaged. Like you don't even care because you're like, well, I don't have Luka. I have no chance. There's way too many people using him, so I can't win. And I think that's why, and that's why I think something like underdog is also important, is because like you need something for something for the casual people, and you need something for the people that love to like dive into numbers and do like stupid math and look at like weird margins and projections and stuff like that. Like you just want to cast a wide net. And to your point, Mike, I think most importantly, you just want to be able to use as many cards as possible.
No, the training stuff sucks. Like, and it's not even okay.
Mike, would you be much happier if they just had a button that was like randomize my training lineups?
Yes.
And it just like put everyone in like they just went down your list before. The same way you do it is just firing it off, but just like hit a
because someone was like
training lineups.
Someone was trying to tell me you got better XP if you're like, I don't give a shit. I'm not spending any time. I'm just like, and then I get the T-shirt.
You don't maximize your XP training, dude.
No, dude. I don't even want to know if that's the thing you can do. Someone said that to me, and I just called it. I don't care.
I told you.
Yeah, it was you that I don't like. Then I like. Oh, congratulations!
It does make
congratulations, dude. Your fake lineup of fucking Wagner family got you like 0.4. Like, good. Congrats, bro.
Okay, it does make sense. The only time it makes sense is like if you have a Curry and he's out for 3 weeks, or you have like whatever, right? So if you throw a Curry in with a bunch of good dudes, then Curry will keep growing at a good pace instead of throwing him in with Josh Primo and Ty Washington.
Yeah, but that happens anyways if you're just clicking randomly because all your top guys are in one lineup, and then the next tier is in the next inning.
Yeah, but your injured guys at the bottom.
Injured guys are at the bottom.
Then you go scoop them up anyway.
I'm more pissed.
Yeah, but you got to put them with your best players.
I know they're about to be like, I can tell, I can feel the OGs being like, well, let me introduce you to football. Like, I get it. I know.
I have to make 120 training lineups.
I know.
I just got into football because I got all these freaking World Cup cards. First of all, I think the system's glitched out because every time I go to make a lineup, it'll show me like a bunch of keepers, and then I'll have like one keeper, and then I'll click
because
like
they
the
have
no
no game.
games.
It's
No,
because they
and
have
then
no
I'll click
game.
no game, and then it'll add like half of them back, and I'm like, I don't really know all the bros that I have enough to like really check if they're giving me all the options, but something's going on there. Okay, I'm
You
on
just
to you
don't
guys.
believe you. They're showing you all your cards.
Because I'll see like one pop up and then it'll go away, and then I'll unhide it, and then it's not there, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't remember what the dude's name was, but he's not there.
It's because
Wait,
it's
I wanna-
because
Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
it's because they have that marketplace underneath because they're trying to entice you to buy if you don't have it. So it takes a second to load, and it just like it looks glitchy, but it's all there. They give it to you all there.
I want to talk more about this training. I think it is dumb that you are getting extra points for putting your fake make-believe lineups that have nothing in, like there's no skin in the game. But you're like, oh, congratulations, my piece of shit guys that I didn't use got 5 extra points, so now they're better plays next week. What? Why?
The point is, I think, so that in the long run, like having a card from this season is better than next season. So you can have like upped all the experience points. Whereas if it was only the ones in your lineup, then you're less likely to want to hold on to your cards.
No, I get training. I think it's dumb if your training lineup gets 82 points and mine gets 80, and then you get a few extra points. Like, congratulations. That's what I'm saying.
As long as you put them in the lineup, you should benefit equally.
Exactly.
If you did the clicking is the training. It's not what they do in the real life. It's the clicking.
That's this is getting the XP right here, baby. You know, come on.
So I did see our CEO Bagholder Bro Nikolai say that they are coming up with like a way to automate training. I think so. I think it's going to be like a button that just
I saw it too.
That needs to be done. So
that needs to be done yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, and then
the other thing I was gonna say is, so they just announced automatic bidding, right, or some shit like that, where you can put like your max, and then, which I think is okay. So if you're a basketball grinder, I don't think it's a good thing that they did that, because
no, it's not.
You're basically just gonna be competing with all the bots, and like it's like it's like late swap. It's like late swap. That's what it is. It's like late swap in DSS, where everybody thinks it's fucking good, and then it's like, no, actually, this just hammered you, and it just buried you, which is apparently what happened in MMA, dude. MMA apparently is just like unplayable.
Yeah, I stopped playing it as soon as that happened. So.
Yeah,
but also it's basically like turning people into bots, right? Like you're now like every single person is going to be like, what? Okay, I want to buy this off the market. What's the manager sale? Put it like $3 lower than that. But then 2 people do that, so they both just like are going to bid themselves up.
Yeah. I mean, it makes SoRare more money, so they're happy. But I think Andrew tweeted out. Shout out to Andrew in the chat. He tweeted out, this is something that people think they want, but they're going to hate. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, like this is like, I mean, thank God I'm a manager sales type of guy and not an auction boy, because I would be my whole strategy would be destroyed.
It's so funny, man. I like the first week that I was on SoRare, I was like, dude, auctions are where it's at. I haven't sniffed an auction since that week either. Like it's so much work. I don't
have the patience, dude. I don't have the patience anymore.
Oh man, and you know why too? Like PTSD, because all of my auctions that I won are definitely.
I know. I bought them all early, and I knew I was buying them too high. I'm like, I've seen all the charts. It all evens out after 3 weeks. But I need to get that game week 3 limited lineup in, dude. I don't have enough players.
And they're just addictive. At one point, I was like, he's only that much? Well, I just bought that guy for that guy. That's a pretty good deal. But then I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. But
I remember I went to, I think I was watching a game. I don't know if it was like it must have been Sunday for football. And I was like at the bar, just like watching the game. And I was like, oh man, maybe I just like rip a couple auctions real quick. See if I can like, some stuff.
I think that their offer stuff is already really sophisticated. In what they have it.
Yeah.
And maybe I actually just don't use it that much, but like you have to go specifically to a manager, right? And like do the offer, right?
Yeah,
like
it's like a trade, right?
Well, no, you can go
Like,
to the.
you can go to the
just go to the
cards.
card though.
Yeah.
Oh, an offer. Sorry, my bad.
Wait, you can go. So like if there's a random card listed, I can make. So if there's a Montrezl Harrell card listed,
Yeah.
I can make an offer to another Montrezl Harrell guy, or
Oh
only
no,
to that
no,
owner.
you're making it to that specific person.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Is like,
Oh, you mean like
actually,
group
don't
offers?
even know. I just brought this up because I got an offer on my Montrezl Harrell limited,
Smash.
and I don't really know how this bro found me, but he found me.
You're pretty famous, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, you type in John Boy,
Oh,
and
it's
you check out
JBB,
his
dude.
collection. Collection's just popping every week, baby. But I would like it if, because that is something I would like to do. It's like be able to put out an offer for a Richaun Holmes or whatever for like, oh shit, he just bumped up to $12. Like I'll throw out an $8 offer to anybody, and if you take it, you can take it. I think that would be cool. So hopefully they can figure that out.
That would absolutely revolutionize my like strategy because whenever I send offers, like there's no point in me doing it because I'm always buying the floor and then like getting ready to relist it, and like I would have to make an offer to the guy who's on the floor and I'm trying to undercut him. I've done it a couple times. It's just never worked.
I want a GoPro on Jeb while he's just like surfing the SoRare streets.
But
he's
like
scrolling, so he's like, "Whoa, is rain right? 250? Hold on."
Wait, I want to point something out here. So I know Poker Pro Eric, of course, PPE is a freaking Montrezl Harrell fan. Like that's it, of course. But Weisberg says Trez is up to $10. This is what I don't understand. When
I love this. I love this point.
Yeah, when the market moves like this, like you can't play him tonight, man. Like it's past. And he's only popping for a very specific reason. And I still see it shoot up. And I'm like, I forget it was last weekend. I had a card sell. Maybe it was to Jeremy Grant because he scored like 75 points. And I was like, guys, why you don't get those points?
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, that's why I grind the market because like there's
some
players goes off and people just pay like 5x for no reason.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's also like they do it and then they're gonna be a worse play in the future,
right?
Yeah,
like not the next week because I guess his cap will still be. So there's like maybe small instances where like an injury happens of a player in that game and they're gonna be out for extended period of time.
Yeah,
where that player will still be, but there's so many times where it's just like, oh, a player goes off, gotta buy him, and then it's like, okay, you're gonna play him 2 game weeks later, and he has a cap that's 5-10 higher.
Yeah.
So I think
Vlad cocaine cars when no one believed in him, and now I'm just laughing all the way to the bank.
Well, I think what people are doing is, well, I don't freaking know what people are doing, but I would assume that people are just doing, Harrell went off when Embiid was out, so I'm going to go buy a Harrell because the next time Embiid's out, he's going to go off. But I don't think they realize that they're just buying the top right now, right?
They're buying the top. PJ Tucker got hurt, which was like part of the whatever. I'm sorry. We
don't have to actually talk about basketball.
I'm upset.
And Paul Reed didn't play. I don't know if you saw that, Mike.
I did see that. I did see that. My lineup is crushing right now. I got a 59 out of Draymond Green. Fucking Paul Reed, dude. B-ball Paul my ass.
But I do think there's a market, and maybe Jeb, I feel like this would be right up your alley, but like tracking these guys that go from like 3 to 10, and then like, because this Harrell thing is like gonna happen again, I don't know, 5 more times by the end of the season, right? And so like instead of buying Harrell tonight for $12, wait till he goes back to $4 and then buy a couple of them. And then this
is why I talk about in all my SoRare Steel videos. I'm like, when you look at the charts on SoRare data, there are just straight up vertical lines that are just going up with people buying. And if you can find someone that has had that verticality in the past and they've dipped since, like that is an automatic buy. Like you should do some research, look at the depth chart and stuff like that. Just make sure that like this player will play again. He's not like some like Orlando Robinson who's playing now, but at the time he played and then he went back to the G League. But it's just so easy. Like once you like like you look at a team's depth chart, you look at a couple players, and if they have that spike, that means it's going to happen again. We're not even at the All-Star break.
I also Weisberg, I know why it's like, I know that people are looking. I understand why it's happening. I'm saying it's dumb. I'm saying, what are you doing? I know why. I know it's the same way in like DFS. We're like, well, dude, Montrezl Harrell last night scored 25 points. Let's lock him in for tonight.
Yeah, look at his game log.
But that's the point. That's the whole point of the show, though. It's the shot tank. We're here to like take advantage of the fish. You know.
Do you know what I'm so pissed off about? I feel like I am responsible for I'm not,
Like
but I feel like I am
playing Paul
responsible
Reed?
for the Sixers. Not even Paul Reed. It was Harrell too. Like I basically had a coin flip, either Harrell or Paul Reed. And if I had flag planted Montrezl Harrell instead, I'd end the show right now because I would be cutting up the show from Monday being like, I'm a superhero. And instead I got B-ball Paul.
Mike, you can still cut it up. It's called like audio splicing. I'll do it for you. We just put in Montrezl Harrell. I'll just record you saying Montrezl Harrell will replace Paul Reed and all of them, and that is that viral clip.
I do feel like I'm on permatilt right now.
Do you guys think are the limited lineups or the unlimited contests like sharper than the common contests?
No.
Are they?
You don't think so?
Well,
no, there's so many more entries in the common ones.
Yeah.
It's just like,
but don't you think a lot of them are duds?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's just
so
many
more, man.
You get every variation in the common ones.
Well, so okay,
That's what I'm asking.
yes, JBB, yes, they are sharper. It's harder to win the common one, but it's the limited lineups are sharper because there's money in it. More people are being thoughtful with their decisions.
I disagree because you don't have to buy them. So people have all these, like they have more options. So like a person can end like sharp. They're not purposely sharper. They just end up sharper.
You think they have more options?
Yes.
You have how many common cards?
How many commons do you have
compared
to limited?
I'll tell you right now, Ben. You guys are gonna fucking eat your
it's
words.
Like 62 commons, and you
Or
probably
do you just suck at the common competition?
I've
been getting rewards.
No, because I gotta enter my training lineups to make sure they're nice and good, so I get extra XP. You freaking nerds.
Okay, so maybe I'll ask this a different way.
Yeah, ask it like a dumb person so these guys understand.
Okay. Do you crush in the commons? Because I feel like I crush in the commons, and I don't know why I don't.
Like, how many times have you got a limited reward?
Oh well, I don't crush that much.
But that's the point.
but
there's only like there's only how many limiteds are there in the
1,000?
Okay, well I don't freaking crush then. Okay, I crush from the standpoint of like I have every good player that you could ever need in common though. Yeah, I have every freaking good player. Does everybody
is like
have
my point is that you don't have all those options in your contender or your limited.
True.
I
was starting to go down the path of why don't I just spend some money right now, make my limiteds equal my commons, and then I'll crush in that.
Hey, I got a better idea.
You probably would.
You definitely would because you'd have more options.
What if we all liquidate and then just get into the super rare game? Ooh. Just like one lineup, the four of us.
Let's see it.
Awesome.
We'll take Jeb's. We'll get like $2,000 from Jeb's 1,400-ish rain rights.
Dude, that'd be super.
We play super rare contender or super rare champion.
John's like seriously looking into the
champion, man.
Right? No, I don't think we can afford champion. I think we'd have to grind contender.
Okay, why don't we just go uniques though? They give out 5 super rares, and there's only 8 bros that are in it.
How many game weeks in a month? Like 8?
Well, hey,
just slap it on our credit cards.
I got an idea.
Nothing off on the bill code.
Yeah, I got an idea, guys. This is what we're gonna do. There's a card convention coming to New Jersey soon, and I think if we go there and we buy some of these digital collectible cardboard items and then we flip them for big money, we have to then figure out how to use that money and turn it into Ethereum, and then use that Ethereum to get it into our SoRare wallet, and then we can be super SoRare uniques. I think that's the way to go. That was my transition. I feel like because we're at the 50-minute mark.
Okay, real quick, just one more thing. I just want to say, So I was able to catch Andrew's SoRare Data podcast live today. It was really good. A really interesting listen. If you're really into the nerdy stuff we talk here, they take it to an even higher level. But wanted to what you were saying, John, the reason I wanted to bring it up was because they were saying, like, look, like this right now is the easiest it is, like it'll ever be. Like it's only getting harder and it'll only continue to get harder, at least until next season. And so to your point with the whole like buying more limiteds to crush, like if you're going to do it, that's something you want to do now as opposed to like do later.
Are you calling the bottom?
The thing
No,
here
no,
is
no.
It's like real estate. The best time to invest is always yesterday.
True, exactly.
The thing is, though, I only have 0.3 Ethereums, so I can't buy all.
What's going on with that wolf game? What's going on with that wolf?
Oh
game?
yeah,
Yeah, let me put on my Ponzi economics classes and let's figure this out.
Convert some wool now that I think about it.
John, I have 0.06 and I'm buying and flipping daily. So
I got 0.02,
excuses.
baby. It's time to buy.
It's funny.
Man, I will say, listen, to round this out like we do every time, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having a great time on SoRare, even though I'm getting my teeth kicked in today. I'm really enjoying it. Let's talk Top Shot just for a little bit. We got, I don't know, like 15 minutes or so left. Well, 20. We'll go an extra 10 today. We'll bone overtime in honor of overtime of Philadelphia and Indiana, where Paul Reed can touch the court. Let's do two things. Let's start. I'll dealer's choice. Oh, not dealer's choice. I'm a dealer. What do you guys want to do first? You want to do net neutrality and John's epic thread, or do you want to start with the? It's not even real drama. I don't even really give a shit about the cardboard thing. But which one do you guys?
Drama, because the
I have some takes on the cardboard stuff that aren't necessarily
let's do cardboard
related to like the bullshit.
Let's do cardboard first. So there was an account called Dapper Redemption, or I think that's what it was called. And
Dapper_Redemption.
Dapper_Redemption, which is like quality name, Dapper team. And I think
that's what S4 is all about, baby. Dapper Redemption.
Yeah. And so the way people were notified that it existed was the tweet bot live token was going off, and it was like pulling a bunch of like jersey serials and number ones, and it was a lot of 4K moments of rookies. And so then of course the Top Shot sleuth, shout out Chewy, he called it out and was like, hey, what's going on here? And then Packer Sean came in and said like, oh, this is what we're doing with it. Any number ones or jerseys will go back into whatever thing. And then these rookies they're using to these at these cardboard conventions, basically to showcase like, hey, here's what Top Shot is. We'll give you a moment. Look, you're hooked now. So that was like long-winded, but that was to kind of break down what happened today. So there we go. I don't know. That's it. The floor is yours. Whatever you guys want to do with it.
I'll talk quickly on the cereal crap, and I'm not even mad that I'm not mad about what everybody was mad about. I'm actually mad that Top Shot went back against it because, okay, it's not like they like opened up a stocking and were like, oh, just trying to sort through all the moments and like put them in one account or put them in the other. Like they intentionally put a bunch of moments into an account to use for a card convention, and
right, they weren't opening packs.
No,
yeah, everybody's like,
the account was opening packs.
That's why the
bot went off.
The bot went off.
All right, I'll take that back then. That ends my rant.
But like,
I thought they intentionally included some cereals in there.
No,
and then
so they just
to give the card collectors a little joy.
I think they just gifted this account a bunch of packs and then opened them. But like, what I don't understand is like, isn't like part of the card, like the appeal to cardboard is like opening packs. So like, why didn't they be like, here, you get a free pack if you open it right now?
They're going to remake the packs so that everyone has a 4K rookie in it.
They could remake packs? I guess the locker room, right? They did it at the locker room packs. Yeah, okay.
They also can do it smarter than how they did it. Like they could have they could have undid all the packs like behind the scenes. And
can
then,
they
like,
undo a pack behind the scenes?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. They do it fucking all the time. Where do you think like release 74 comes from Series 2? Like that they just like it's like release 23's old shit is now in release 72ers. They can
I see
undo
what
packs.
you're saying.
They for sure can do that.
Yeah, it all ties back to
Like how do you think the Deck the Hoops just made it into these booster packs?
Oh, yeah, you're right. So it would have been in a Jack the Hoop pack that they undid and then put it in a booster.
Yeah.
All right, TST, suck on that L.
There's dude.
It's not about
Yes,
that
they
one.
can. There's also someone gifted an Andrew Bogut run it back to it randomly.
What are we doing? Man, you know what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen in like 2 months? It's probably gonna be Mets. He's gonna tweet out. He's gonna be like, "Wow, remember that time we gifted an Andrew Bogut to a random cardboard collector? Haven't seen them in the Discord recently." Kevin Durant. Like it's gonna be that same shit.
That's what I was gonna say.
So I think that my take on the cardboard stuff is like I mean I guess I haven't really seen like they made like a formal announcement saying like, hey, we're gonna go to like 5 card shows or something, and like if you want to go to them, hit us up and we'll figure it out, and like we'll also be selling packs or something, right? Like it was kind of loose like that, basically.
Yeah.
So like in general, that's like a positive thing, right? Like that they're trying to get out into the cardboard world. They've created all these fucking parallels that apparently cardboard people just freaking get off to. So we've got parallels everywhere that the cardboard people come flocking to, and then now they're going to cardboard events and like boom, here we go. Like let's make some magic happen. But the thing that is a bummer to me, and I think the packs are good. Make them fucking really good packs. Make them all have a rookie. Like give a old dude a Cade and like let him go at it, and like I think that's all good. But what I just am so perplexed by is the tour, right? The tour.
Wow, dude, Doc's Greg, Dustin.
Wow.
Dustin's still mad he didn't get one. You got to be in that illegal Discord where all the alpha was dropped.
That's right. It's you could be in it for $10 a month. The part that pisses me off is they just did the tour, or they're doing the tour, or whatever, right? Miami's this weekend or something, or I don't fucking know.
This weekend.
And they are not doing any sort of like onboarding at the tour, right? And like they're bringing a whole lot of people and resources to Portland and Toronto and Miami and Paris and like that, but it's just like a kumbaya for like the old Top Shot people, and it's not like an onboarding thing. And like I get it, like again, parallels, like cardboard people love them, but like it was the point of like Series 4 to just get cardboard people, or like what were we gonna try to do some other, like why couldn't you throw up a freaking kiosk at Toronto and Portland and like give away some packs to basketball fans who are there, and like I don't know, try to get some people to like learn about it there, run a couple ads in stadium. Like it's not that hard, I would assume. I don't know. It's just like another weird decision that like they've gotten all spun up that like cardboard's the future, and it's just like so weird to me.
Yeah, sorry, I get the chat just the PPE back and forth. Great. He says Top Shot used to still remember how Team Hold killed Top Shot, and he said like PPE killed those golf balls in Vegas. For anyone that was in Vegas, PPE is one of those psychos that brings his own club to Top Golf, and then
not just a glove, his own clubs.
Yeah,
glove. Wait, that's what I said. Club. Sorry.
I thought you said gloves.
Club and his own tee.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then Mike Weiser's killing those. Honestly, the chat's been so great. Thank you for this. You know what's so funny? I don't really want to dunk on Top Shot too much as my headphones come out for the cardboard thing, because I like whatever. They're doing something. I'm happy you guys are doing something. And I think like I don't know who's going to cardboard conventions being like, hey, what kind of like $35 moments do you have? Like I feel like usually you go to those to look at grails, right? Typically. And not that they won't be able to see it, but I don't know. Whatever. Any sort of listen, this is 100% more than they did last year, so that's cool. I agree with you though about like the whole tour thing it seemed like a really good idea that then they lost a lot of funding for. That's like I don't know that. That is like my outside view. It's like, oh my God, we're gonna like do this huge blowout, and then I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to one, so TST, maybe you are the better person to talk to about it. Like what was? I mean, we talked about your experience and how you had a really good time, and I know you told us privately like how much fun you had, but did it feel like that was something that was missing?
I mean, it wouldn't have made sense at the like event part of it. They would have had to set something up at the game,
right? Which is probably another headache, right?
Yeah, or set and like approval from the team and stuff like that. Not just like, hey, can we get a box?
Like, how hard is that? They had to get an approval for a booth at this convention or 6 conventions.
It's not to buy a table at a convention is different than set up a table in an NBA arena.
It's not easy to get a folding.
I don't think it's that big.
It,
From a like planning standpoint and like marketing and like this is something we should like think about. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, it also doesn't mean that they couldn't like have it like another event like at a like basketball court that would have other basketball fans around that people would be like, hey, why are all these people have this court rented out? Like, and half the courts are taken by these people. And then like, there's a booth there. Like that is more maybe something that would be more feasible without having to get like NBA approval and stuff. But
I need it.
Why does that make him so mad?
Put this chat right into my veins. Also, Weisberg, you should look at what Fanatics did today, though, because they just like divested a ton of their investment in Candy. So, which Greg has already spun into a good thing. So I applaud Greg.
I still have so many candy packs.
Didn't they sell 60% of it today?
Yeah, I haven't touched the packs.
Greg is to Candy as I was to Top Shot last year, where I was like, actually, guys, now's the time to buy. Also, yes, he did. Greg bought a Devers jersey match today.
Oh no, Greg!
Dude, shut up, Greg, dude. Disney money. Also, Dustin asked a question that I don't think we can answer on here, but I like that you asked the question, Dustin.
I think the answer is yes.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I had higher hopes for the tour and what that could have been, but I know I'm coming at it from such a different angle as someone who like has planned events and like performs and stuff, where I'm like, oh, this could be a really cool thing, but that's such a small.
Theoretically, they have a team that also does that.
Yeah, and I don't want to be, and I'm not trying to dunk on like the team that does it either. Like I know Mega's probably incredibly overworked and underpaid for what she's doing. And like I get it. They obviously, not that they don't care about it, but that's not a priority for them right now. And whatever. I mean, I think it's a bummer because of what we had hoped it would be, but I think whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately like what are they trying to get out of it? And it seems like what they're trying to do is just give something for like Top Shot collectors who have been there to like have something like IRL and get to meet like other collectors and all this other stuff. So I don't know. I like it for that. I think it's cool, but I do like at the same time, obviously everything's an opportunity to onboard. So you could attack it from either way.
Boys, these candy packs are going for $21.
That's not good, John. We paid more.
Wait, how much did we pay for?
25,
89, man.
No, not the candy.
No, we paid 50 for each, and then we got airdropped an additional one. So we ended up paying like I think 25 a pack.
Candy is the greatest investment of all time. I'm gonna list a whole bunch of them.
Oh wait, you're saying it's only down a little bit?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just holding my packs until like for 10
until
years.
It's down worse.
Yeah, there's no point in selling now. I'd rather hold.
You can't open them anymore.
But I'm just gonna forget about this, and I'd like to take a little cash out.
That is the best investment when you didn't think you forgot it was there.
Yeah, then it's just free money, right?
All right. Was there anything else related to? I feel like I did a bad job talking about the card.
Well, speaking of things that disappointed compared to what we hoped they would be, does John want to talk about his thread now?
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
look at that. Do you want to start hosting this shit, dude?
Not at all.
Do you want me to pull it up? I feel like it wasn't that like cool of a thread. There's not that much in it.
I retweeted it.
No, I mean, like from like pictures and stuff. I think it was more.
Yeah, we're big. No, I don't think you need to pull it up. I don't think you need to pull it up unless
Yeah.
you're trying to get more
Yeah,
engagement on it. We don't need to see. Wait,
See the words you were saying.
You want to just give us a TLDR from your 37 tweet thread?
If I pull it up on the stream, will that count towards my Twitter views? Like the number that shows up now on Twitter views? Like, do you think they know? Maybe Elon's got that figured out. Okay,
Top priority.
here's the long and short of the Twitter thread is I'm there's like nobody cares about this, right? But I've been fixated with the net neutrality stuff, mostly because I run all the numbers every week on all this Top Shot stuff, and like when they said net neutral, I was like, okay, cool. And I started in my head like thinking of all how it'd work and what I would track if I was in charge and blah blah blah. And so my version of net neutral that I've been tracking since the season started was a bit different than how Top Shot's doing it, and I was apprised of that a couple weeks ago when I got a couple DMs being like, "Oh, like, are you sure you're looking at this right? Like, I've been told we're actually doing better." And I said, hey, I'm doing it how I think you guys are doing it. You're more than welcome to put out a blog of like exactly how you're tracking it, and then from there, I will, bend the knee and I'll change my stuff. I'll get aligned with it, and I will trend forward in that direction. And that's what happened, right? That's what happened. They put out the blog right before Christmas. They said, here's how we're tracking net neutral. Here's all the numbers that we've, here's everything we're counting, and we're at negative like 3.1 million moments. And so I knew that there was multiple outcomes of how I was doing it, but so I knew there was some room for error if they included certain things because I had kind of tabulated everything. There wasn't enough room for error for me to be off by like over 1 million moments. And so that's when I was like, all right, something's weird here. Like, I need to kind of dive in. And then I didn't really care because it was Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. And I was like, it's not really that big of a deal. Maybe I'll get over it. And then I came back to do the weekly charts, and I was like, all right, well, let's try to figure this out. I got in contact with the guy who actually ran all the numbers for the blog, who works with The Economist, and was like actually the spreadsheet guy. So just a couple spreadsheet versions going out of the chat. You gotta love that. A lot of fireworks there. Sharing a lot of CSV files, man. It was great. It was a beautiful Tuesday. But yeah, so got synced up with everything they were doing, and essentially what it comes down to is they so Series 4 started on June 7th, right? June 7th is when Magic Johnson Anthology came out, and that's when they're saying Series 4 started. Now, obviously that doesn't make a lot of sense because that's like right when the finals were and all this stuff, right? So like there was a ton of Series 3 stuff that was still happening, and did happen after June 7th. And so the approach that I was taking in all of my numbers was I went back to Series 4 when it started, and I threaded kind of the needle. And I said, okay, all this stuff here is Series 3, all this stuff Series 4, so we're just going to keep counting the Series 4 stuff. And then as soon as it got to the locker room packs where they included all the Series 1 moments, right, where they were doing the small odds at a Series 1 moment, I was like, okay, those all count towards Series 4. That's fine, close enough. And what happened, what Top Shot did is just basically everything from June 7th counted. And so like the Series 3 finals drop counts towards their supply, like the supply that they're including in the blog of like the however many moments they said they've come out with, right? And so like which I guess is fine if you're doing the June 7th thing, right? So like there's a number of packs that were part of the Series 3 roadmap that they're counting against them in their number, right? But then the biggest bogey is they're counting a little over 1 million moments of deflationary that went to the locker room for 3 like huge locker room features at the end of Series 3, right? So there was locker room pack 9 that was partially over June 9th, but that was just that was the one where everybody was trying to recycle Series 3 into Series 2, right? Back when that fucking mattered, that Series 3 and Series 2 were different. So there's a bunch of people doing that one. And then there was the the huge one where it was 60, right, where we had the elite pack, right, and it was 60 trade tickets, and they put out a bunch of MJLEs and hollows at the end of the year. And then there was the one that DJ Loco was fiending on in Vegas, right, where it was just like just a bunch of hollows and MJLEs for the 4-3 thing, right? So like in total, those like 3 events removed 1.2 million moments. And in my opinion, like it's very clear that all that shit is from the Series 3 roadmap. They got to, like, we saw it happen last year, right? They got to the end of the year and you're like, oh fuck, we still have to get out like 40 MJLEs and like 23 hollows, and like here's just a bunch of random shit in packs that we're gonna try to make you guys all do. And like at the time we were stoked, and I was excited that they did the 60 trade tickets for 3 moments or whatever it was.
I thought that was great. Yeah.
Like it was great. And like that alone removed 700,000 moments or whatever it is. And so, like, I'm not saying that all that stuff was bad, but it just seems really disingenuous to count that stuff in this whole like Series 4 is net neutral thing. And so, anyways, that's basically the delta. There's about 1 million moments that I don't really think should count, that they are thinking counts, and that's why they're at such a low negative number.
I would say the stuff that was happening over the summer with the I wish we were seeing more of that stuff right now. I think that'd be great.
More.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Like I included like all of the squad goal stuff, right? Squad goals like burned about a shit ton of moments, and that was like a Series 4 pack. And so I included all that stuff. I included all the WNBA stuff. I included all the archive stuff, like everything that was a Series 4 like moment. That like I went back and I added a bunch of moments that were then burned later, and like my number syncs up to what it should be.
Shit!
Jesus.
Language.
What?
Sorry, I forgot I didn't mute myself. Raptors just hit a. They were down 10 with like 40 seconds left, and now they're tied and about to go to overtime.
Ooh, let's go! I could use the Giannis overtime.
And Giannis is putting up a crazy number too. He's got like it was something nuts. It was
I know another 2020 basically, and he might get a triple double if he gets 2 more assists.
Yeah, well, PPE said he was going to get a quadruple double because he was including the 10 turnovers Giannis has tonight.
Doesn't he have 80 on SoRare anyways? Like he's not touching that.
If it goes to overtime,
OT, dude.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my spiel.
Sorry to derail things.
I was gonna say there was one. I wanted to say, John, who do you think? Like I was thinking of, as you were telling us about the conversation you had, and then after the conversation, you posted the thread like you do. I was thinking like if they had to rank us on this show right now, like I think it's like Jeb and TST are like 1A and 1B. Probably Jeb 1A because Jeb will like just kind of keep the peace and be like, wow, look at this, fucking sick, dude. Like, he's gonna, like, look at this strike moment.
Brother. Anybody want to trade me for some random rookie? We're $4.
And then TST's like, I'm just gonna go by my abbreviated name and not tell anybody now. So like you're 1B or whatever. And then I am the face usually of the stuff that John says. That's kind of how I feel. Like John is the brain and I'm the mouthpiece. So I can't tell like who. Maybe it's just I think they like you more than they like me. I think they still are on board with you because you mostly factual.
I do feel like I've changed my strategy on Twitter over the last couple weeks or maybe a month or two, where I've like it also I think correlated to when I got down to one moment in my account to where I like didn't really feel as personally pissed off all the time, and I was more of just like a damn, you guys are really still lying to everybody type of thing. So that's where I took the that's where I've tried to take more of the approach of like this is what's going on, this is how I'm seeing it. I don't really think it's right, but collect what you love what you collect, and high five all your guitars. So anyways, I don't know. That's I think
what is that from?
I mean, because in a similar sense, like I haven't talked about. I mean, I haven't tweeted about Top Shot since October. Since the last time I tweeted about Top Shot, I got a DM saying, "Hey, we're not going to sponsor the show anymore." And I think that was probably the last time I tweeted about it. So it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
I think the thing that actually is I don't know if I should say this, but whatever. I think the thing that's a bit more of a bummer is I don't necessarily think that, because I talked about this in my Discord, and obviously all the numbers people in there are geeking out about it, and people are saying like, oh, like that just seems like shady accounting, and I see Weisberg saying that too, like they're moving numbers around to do it in their favor and stuff like that. I just don't. I In my discussions and talking, I don't really think it was like super intentional of how they did it. Uh, and I think they kind of went with the June 7th because they were very detailed about like every single pack that they've released. Like if Chewy got 5 packs to give to the Kings, like that thing is freaking on there. Like they're tracking everything. And I just so I don't think it was necessarily intentional, which I think makes it worse that there's such like a big gap that like I don't know, it's just like what are we doing? And again, like the funny thing about net neutral is like it doesn't really matter. Like I did a thread right right after they announced it. I did a thread and I simulated like what series 3 would have been if they did it at net neutral and like how many less moments there'd be and all this stuff. And like the fact of the matter is there's just too many damn moments on the site for it to really do much, right? For it to really like prop up the floor or like it's not like all of a sudden every moment was going to be worth $10 just because of net neutral. And I think I've tried to be clear in a couple different threads on that on Twitter, but what it does, and this is what I said a couple months ago, is number one, it was like a pretty big goal, right? It was a pretty big like goal to achieve and like a pretty bold thing to say, right? After everybody just thinks that moments are being minted to the moon. And if they were able to pull it off and like and have the perception at the end of series 4 that wow, they did just do that, and they did do net neutral, and yeah, the market does feel healthier and whatever. Like it had the potential to build some momentum, build some goodwill with Top Shot, like make people excited that like, hey, they don't just think everything should be trash except for a couple moments or whatever, and it had potential to be good. More from not really necessarily from like a I don't know bottom line like your account value standpoint, but more of just like a momentum type of thing. And like honestly, regardless of what the numbers say, like the perception is reality right now, right? It's like even if they put on a blog that like even if it wasn't locking, right? Even if it was like I don't know, even if it was something else that said the blog was minus 3 million, it doesn't feel like that, right? Like nobody is like, oh hell yeah, series 4 has been sweet, and like packs have been hard to get, like they said, and like all these moments are a little bit more scarce. Like it's just like they don't even give a shit.
It feels the exact opposite.
Yeah. So that's the other part of it. It's like perception's reality a little bit. And like whatever they do with the net neutral, it doesn't really matter when everybody just feels like there's too many moments still.
Yeah,
well,
it's oh sorry.
Also just with locking, like it doesn't mean much when like people are able to unlock, because it's like, okay, so series 4 was net neutral, but then like all of that, like if people all unlock in series 5 will be like the like most like positive series ever or whatever. Like so it's just like when that's all there is like you can't get positive sentiment of people that understand that.
It's so funny too, because you're seeing like comments like that being like, yeah, but you're assuming that all of the people that have them locked when it unlocks won't relock it. And I was like, well, yeah, but if we're already having this conversation, that means you did a bad job. Right? Like if we have to figure all of that out, it means it doesn't count. The whole locking thing, like when I think about it a little bit more, it reminds me when I first started like auditioning for stuff when I moved to New York, or I was like up for something and I would like tell people, and you shouldn't do that, because then if like it's really hard to get stuff. You usually don't get stuff, and then you have to explain to all of those people in a couple of weeks why you didn't get the thing. And it seems like they came up with this idea and they were like, this is fucking awesome, and they told people, and now it was like we told them too early, we told them way too early. And that is kind of what it feels like, where I wonder if they could go back in time, if they would have taken that back.
Well, Yeah, I think just telling people too early is like the Top Shot problem in general. Like they're like, oh, like we're going to have challenges where you burn. Oh, we're gonna have challenges where you burn some and you don't burn. And then we're like, well, where is that? They're like, oh, well, we're still working on it. And I was like,
Yeah.
then don't like. Yeah, everything just seems to be like they have an act like a good idea, and instead of working on it and developing it and polishing it and running like scenarios through it and all that stuff, they're so excited about it that they just tell everyone, and then people are like, well, when is it? Like, give it to us. And then they feel like they put themselves on a clock to get it released. And it's
like the app will be out by Christmas, and or like the burning thing is kind of like, I forgot about it because I haven't been plugged into the challenges, but somebody in the Discord today was just kind of like, hey, do they not burn for challenges anymore? No, I didn't realize they're not like really burning. And it's
they're locking for challenges because people who already locked everything can't participate in challenges if there's burning required. So it's just like the worst. They have like, it's so bad.
Brian in my Discord said it the best. He said that because there's so few users now and there's so many moments, and not to don't get offended by anybody, but everybody's bags are so big in the sense that people have large accounts, right? Like they have a lot of different types of moments, right?
Yeah.
There's too many things that are all fighting for utility, right? There's like there's not enough things for them to roll out that can try to please everyone, and it's a shit.
Well, and it's just changed. It's what the platform has changed a couple of times. Like, what is when's the last time TSS has been talked about or even announced? And that was the future of fandom, dude. That was like going to change everything. Player leaderboards, like all that stuff. And you can say be patient all you want. I mean, that was announced in like June, and it's almost the all-star break of this season. Like we're like almost 40 games into the season. What are you talking about?
Well, let's just remember what happened the last 2 all-star breaks. We may not be through the bad part yet.
Dude, seeing stars. All right, that's it. We did it. We talked. Yeah, that's as positive as I can be about it. What do we got coming up, Jeb? You got any SoRare steals around the corner?
Yeah, I've just been posting tons and tons of content lately. I posted a UFC Strike video also talking about the first year of Strike. So for the 6 people that enjoy that, feel free to check it out. And then, just been posting a lot of if you're interested in, buying players before they spike and then having them for your lineups or being able to sell them, feel free to check out the SoRare Steals videos on my channel.
Hell yeah. Also, just like lots of great comments. Once we get out of beta, early adopter bonus, and then remember baller status. Remember ballers though? Dude, now that you can do a PFP, TST, what do you got coming up?
I just put out SoRare Game Week 23 video, like, I don't know, a couple hours ago. So go check that out. Maybe do something other than a preview in the next couple of days on SoRare. But yeah, go check out my channel. Subscribe.
Sound really excited about your channel.
I know. Well, you know what? He was trying to finish talking because there's 35 seconds left in overtime, and it's a tie game right now.
Except I'm on a delay. So
I won't tell you what happened then.
That's good.
JVB, when are you gonna come on so we can freaking do some basketball stuff, bro?
I was just gonna say that. So I'll shout out the Momentum Labs projections for SoRare. We've got ages on the spreadsheet now, baby. Cool colors, so easy to make the eyes pop to the under 23 youngsters and the old guys. And yeah, I mean, I am while we're in this weird limbo of figuring out what's going to go on with the Bills Bengals game and the balance of the regular season underdog payouts, I have been hammering the playoff best ball, baby, and the Mitten 3 is opening soon, I would bet. So I think I'm going to wait to figure out the seeding before I actually write something up, but obviously, I need to get on with Zakarian, and we need to rip some tracks.
Yeah, let's rip some. You fired enough. You fired enough. You can wait till the seedings come out. That's I imagine we're gonna get.
I'm in 100 mittens. I got 100 mittens in.
They just yeah, let's all change our avatars to TSS. Never forget. They did. I saw some like I wonder if we get underdog news soon. By the way, speaking of that, not that that matters, but I know I've heard a couple of ideas come out. TST, I saw. I'm sorry. How do you feel about Grayson Allen?
Fuck.
Grayson Allen just hit a 3. There's still time though. There's still 10 seconds
There's
left.
10 seconds left.
All right. So what do we have? The daily show, the NBA morning shows tomorrow at 9 a.m. You can check that out. And then on Friday, we'll have the morning show along with Live Before Lock at 5:30. That should be a fun one. And I think that's it. I don't know. Make sure you like this stream. You subscribe to Jeb's channel. Let's get Jeb over upload. What's it? It's January 4th. By the next time we're here, which should be like 3 weeks, we should get Jeb up over 1,400. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him a little
That's
boost.
a tall task.
Let's get him up over 1,400. There's no reason
Numbers are down right now. It's
There's
January, 700.
It's time to pump it. It's time to pump it.
Pump it, baby. Moonshot.
Moonshot. There we go. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out all of the content that was just shared. We will be back next week. Next week, TST, your channel, right?
Yep.
We'll see you next Wednesday on the TST. We are out.